No one does a running gag quite like the characters on The Big Bang Theory. With 12 seasons to its name, there were plenty of moments that were humorously repeated to poke fun at the Big Bang characters and their lifestyles. The running gags were a part of the show's storytelling and were consistent enough that the viewers were in on the joke. With the characters' unique personalities, from Sheldon's neuroses to Penny's free-spiritedness, there were plenty of gags to go around. Running gags aren't arbitrary jokes added at random. They're consistent jokes that poke fun at the characters' personalities or behaviors. They become a shared moment between the characters and the audience that makes The Big Bang Theory special. Sheldon's mother had him tested. An ongoing gag throughout The Big Bang Theory was that Sheldon Cooper, Jim Parsons, was so brilliant that he sometimes didn't understand how to act in a social setting. Things like casual conversation and reading someone's emotions proved hard for the genius. He eventually learned that outsiders could potentially judge him, so he prefaced his behavior with, "I'm not crazy. My mother had me tested." The notion that Sheldon's behavior was so out of touch that he could be seen as crazy was a true concern for the group. The line would eventually be repeated throughout the show's 12 seasons, including by Sheldon's friends when defending him. Although the joke's background wasn't completely dissected on TBBT, it was shown in depth on the show's spin-off, Young Sheldon. Mary Cooper, Zoe Perry, took Sheldon to a doctor to assess his reactions, and lo and behold, there was nothing wrong with him, he was just brilliantly himself. Howard's mother was never seen on camera. One of the best running gags during Howard's mom's time on the show was that she could only ever be heard, not seen. Since Howard Wolowitz, Simon Helberg, lived with his mother, Debbie, until her untimely death, he had multiple scenes with her in the background. She was typically screaming for Howard from the kitchen, which prompted hilarious reactions from Howard since he was tired of her yelling at him. Small glimmers of her shadow or a quick outline of Debbie were occasionally shown, but that was it. The idea of having Debbie in the background and never seen by audiences was intentional. Inspired by Carlton the doorman in Rhoda, the Plain Dealer reported that Chuck Lorre made Debbie invisible to audiences as an homage to other sitcoms. Although Debbie was never shown on TBBT, Howard and other characters did a great job of describing her appearance to match her New Jersey accent, so that viewers could imagine what she looked like. Sadly, Carol and Susie, the actress who voiced Debbie, died while The Big Bang Theory was still on the air, and thus, Debbie's death was written into the show. Emily or Cinnamon? Raj Koothrappali's love life was a constant struggle throughout The Big Bang Theory. While he had relationships, none worked out as he had hoped by the end of the series. To help with loneliness, Howard and Bernadette gifted Raj a dog, whom he named Cinnamon. Cinnamon soon became Raj's treasured companion, and she took the place of a girlfriend. In Season 7, Raj started dating Emily Sweeney. The two became serious, but Cinnamon was still the main lady in Raj's life. Eventually, Howard started a game, Emily or Cinnamon. The idea behind the game was that Raj was so passionate about both Emily and Cinnamon that it was hard for the gang to decipher who he was talking about. The game became a running gag amongst the group. Even when Raj grew tired of the jokes, the friends still found it hilarious that he would theoretically have a hard time choosing between the two. Soft Kitty. A long-standing gag throughout TBBT is how bad a patient Sheldon is when he's sick. When Sheldon comes down with a cold or the flu, the group of friends needs to be on call to assist him with his illness, much to their disdain. As different as Sheldon and Penny are, she soon became a mother-like figure for him when he was sick. In Season 2, Penny tried to make Sheldon feel better, but the only thing that would work was if she sang the song Soft Kitty. His mother sang Soft Kitty to him as a child, and it was the one thing that soothed him before bed. The song soon became a running gag between Sheldon and Penny, especially when she didn't sing it correctly. Sheldon would make Penny restart until she got it right. Whenever Sheldon came down with a bug, the Soft Kitty running gag was close behind. Howard and Raj's possible romantic relationship. Sheldon, Leonard, Raj, and Howard are collective best friends, but they are partnered up. Sheldon and Leonard do more things together because they are roommates, and Raj and Howard are glued at the hip because of their similar sense of humor. Howard and Raj became so close, however, that many joked that they were in a romantic relationship. Even when Howard found love with Bernadette, the three of them became inseparable. Sometimes, Bernadette felt like the third wheel when she was with the two men. Raj even lived with Howard and Bernadette when he fell on hard financial times. Because of their bond and how much time they spent together, there was a running gag that they were in a relationship. From living together to feeding each other, everyone from Mary Cooper to Barry Cripp assumed the two were dating. Despite being straight men, Howard and Raj got annoyed at the jokes and didn't always understand why people thought they were dating. Sheldon Spot. Sheldon's idiosyncrasies became well known by Season 12. His roommate agreement and daily requirements were well drawn out for his colleagues and friends to make his day-to-day life more comfortable. In the first episode, it became clear that Sheldon had a specific spot on the couch that only he could sit on. Whenever someone was close to sitting in his spot, Sheldon would quickly point and say, "You're in my spot." While his close friends never sat in his spot because they didn't want to deal with Sheldon's meltdown over losing his sitting place, newcomers to the apartment were always thrown for a loop when they were told they couldn't sit where they wanted. That Sheldon's spot was a running gag that endured throughout the entire series and became one of the most hilarious moments whenever a new character entered his and Leonard's apartment. Sheldon's lack of understanding social cues always made the interactions more amusing because of how awkward they were. Howard being uneducated compared to the group. Sheldon, Raj, and Leonard all have their doctorates. Eventually, when Amy Farrah Fowler and Bernadette entered the picture, they too had PhDs. Howard was the only smart friend in the group who had never gotten a doctorate. However, he never felt the need to have one as an MIT-trained engineer. He was even asked to go to space because of his job. Despite an amazing resume and accolades in his field, Sheldon constantly ridiculed Howard for not being a doctor. It soon became a running gag that Howard just had a master's degree. The main characters were all addressed as Dr. Cooper or Dr. Hofstadter before enunciating Mr. Wolowitz. Howard took the insults in good stride, but by season 12, he was sick of Sheldon's digs at his career and education, especially after being the only one in the group to have ever gone to space. Nevertheless, it was always humorous how Howard's career was looked down upon despite his being a talented engineer. Elevator issues.